Well, it's the first big powder day we've had in a pretty long time. On Fox 13, Spencer Joseph, how skiers, snowboarders, UDOT crews, and the resorts all dealt with it. Coming up.
And as one storm exits the state, another one to take its place. Yes, another winter storm on the way. How much snow will this one bring? I'll let you know in the forecast.
Now more than ever, it's really, really important to do things to prevent transmission.
Utah's COVID-19 deaths projected to double by February, but doctors say there are things we can do now to avoid the sharp increase.
And it's an unforgettable gift for the family of a South Salt Lake police officer. We'll show you how one group is helping out the Romrell family in a big way.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
First on Fox 13, the snow has come and gone for now, but it sure made Canyon roads a mess today. Take a look. That was earlier today in Big Cottonwood Canyon. There were some dicey conditions at times.
Yeah, got a little ugly here and there, but this snow, of course, was needed, especially to clear up our air and to really usher in this winter season. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Nay.
And I'm Brian Schnee. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph spent some time in the canyons for the first snow day in weeks.
Solitude Mountain Resort was one of the luckiest with 7 inches of snow overnight and another 5 today. We traveled up Big Cottonwood Canyon today to see how everything was going, plus what the road conditions were like. It's days like Saturday those who seek the powder dream of.
Oh man, the snow is so dry.
Need a hip deep powder. It was pretty nice. It was definitely 10 out of 10.
And that includes those like Sarah Huey, who work at Solitude Mountain.
Oh, it's so great. I love to see these flakes falling from the sky, and I dream about them piling up so I can take my big powder turns.
She and others at Solitude have been hard at work planning and prepping for days like Saturday with a lot of people hitting the slopes.
To help keep those lift lines spaced out, the ghost lanes, which is where every other lane is left vacant, so side to side people are well spaced.
This is what those social distance lines looked like at their peak, and those near and far came to try the powder.
I come from the Pacific Northwest, so you get a lot of heavy snow up there, so this is a huge treat.
What wasn't a huge treat was the traffic.
There's a lot of people that want to get up there and enjoy a nice day of skiing.
And while UDOT plows were hard at work.
But we need to ask everybody to do their part as well to make sure that everybody gets home safely.
While the ski season is just kicking off, this year will be different because of the pandemic. So be prepared for a slightly different experience on the mountain.
I think this season, more than ever, communication and transparency is key so that people know what they can expect and can be prepared.
Of course, with those couple of storms coming in next week, UDOT is trying to remind people to make sure their cars are ready, especially if you're going to head up the canyons. In Big Cottonwood Canyon, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks so much, Spencer. Fun to see everybody so excited about it. And take a look. This is a time lapse from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. Looks like a whiteout there for a while. And then you can see out into the valley before night falls. Pretty beautiful.
Not much of a break there. In some places getting only a little bit of snow. Others seeming to get just enough to make an impact. Breck Bolton joining us. Breck, who were the big winners today?
Well, as we look, of course, up in the mountains, we saw anywhere between, on the low end, 5 inches, almost upwards of 1.5 feet of snow. Now, the valleys, it was sporadic, that's for sure, where the focus was towards the southern end of the Wasatch Front through central Utah. Let's give you just kind of a sampling here of the snow totals across the state, where, again, earlier this morning, it was for northern Utah, where areas such as Bountiful, 1.5 inches there, Harriman, about 1 inch, Sandy, 2 inches. Again, turning towards the southern end of the Wasatch Front, moving down through Nephi. How about Payson, 4 inches, Woodland Hills, 6 inches, 14 inches at Alta. Yeah, a lot of fresh powder to enjoy. I was up a little Cottonwood Canyon. Yeah, it was treacherous coming down, but this is just a teaser. More to come as we've been talking about, but let's focus in on what's going on right now. Across the state, looking at your winter weather advisories that were in place now expires. So we're moving to a situation where we get a break from the storms. Could maybe see some brief light snow showers southeastern Utah, maybe over here in the next hour or so. But all in all, the storm moving on, having an impact towards Colorado. Denver seeing the snow as that continues to exit eastward, and we get that break here moving towards tomorrow. Now, just a few high clouds around, but no concerns for the snow as they're now, of course, been working all day clearing the roads. They'll be clear tonight, tomorrow. We have no travel concerns. So looking at the temperature, it's going to be a cold one, though, under these clear skies. Temperature of 17 degrees in Salt Lake City. A lot of locations down into the single digits. But things lining up for our next storm. The timing of that storm and how much snow will fall, we're going to answer those questions coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Brock. The Utah Department of Health, meantime, says Utah's COVID-19 case count was artificially higher today. That's because their server was down between Thursday night and early Friday morning. Almost 3,700 cases were reported today, but state health officials believe 1,100 of those cases would have been in yesterday's case count. 25.8% of COVID tests over the past week have come back positive. There are currently 544 Utahns hospitalized with the virus.
The deaths of 13 more Utahns were reported today. The victims, including 8 men, 5 women from Davis, Garfield, Salt Lake, Uinta, Utah, Washington, and Weber counties. 1,038 people have lost their lives to the virus. Just a disturbing new projection from a research group at the University of Washington. It shows Utah is on track to double its statewide death count in less than 10 weeks.
Fox 13's Diego Romo spoke with researchers about that projection and what we can do now to hopefully avoid that number.
We are projecting for your state that the cases will go up in winter because of the seasonality of COVID-19. We're moving indoors, and the virus loves indoors.
Doctors here in Utah say that projection is accurate if we maintain our current weekly case rates.
What we do know for certain, the fewer sick people, the fewer the deaths. And that's true for everything, not just for COVID.
Projections made by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation show Utah passing the 2,000 death mark by February 17th. With a rapid vaccine rollout, that number could be held to just under 2,000 deaths. And if 95% of all people stick to wearing masks, deaths would be held to just over 1,700.
IHME models are a model, right? They're not a prediction of the future. We can actually control our future a little bit in how we behave as the public.
It's not written on our foreheads. We can prevent this. We can do our part to limit the transmission of the virus, especially around the holidays.
According to the data, the best prevention so far is wearing masks. This is clear if you look at their projections for deaths by April. On our current path, IHME projects over 2,500 deaths by April 1st. With 95% mask compliance, that number would be reduced by nearly 500 deaths.
So that means 1/3 of the deaths could be prevented from now on. It's just simply by wearing a mask.
Although there is hope on the horizon with a COVID-19 vaccine,
all of those measures that we've been recommending for the last 10 months, and particularly in the last 3-4 months, will still apply, and we have to continue to do those even after you get the vaccine.
Dr. Vento said although the models can be scary, they are not meant to spread fear.
You can be scared by it or not. The fact is, it's just the reality based on the data that we've seen and what they predict.
Both doctors from the University of Utah and Intermountain say the biggest takeaway should be that these grim projections can be avoided. All that needs to be done is to continue wearing masks and maintain social distancing whenever possible. In Murray, Diego Romo, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Caught on camera, a massive fire on Main Street in Delta, now under investigation. Take a look at this incredible video from the Millard County Chronicle Progress, the Millard County Sheriff's Office, telling Fox 13 this all started in a building on Main and 300 West around 3 p.m. That building has a business on the first floor and a home upstairs. No estimates at this point on the damage that was caused. Luckily, deputies say no one was hurt.
It's been just over 2 years since South Salt Lake police officer David Rumrell died in the line of duty.
Well, today, Officer Rumrell's family got a special holiday gift they'll likely never forget.
Salt Lake firefighters, officers, and others with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation presented to Officer Rumrell's wife, Liz, the keys to a home with a paid-off mortgage. Since Thanksgiving, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been providing 36 mortgage-free homes to Gold Star families and families of fallen first responders.
Pretty wonderful gift right there. We've got much more for you coming up. Still, see how the Salt Lake City Public Library is looking to help connect people in underserved communities and bridge that digital divide.
Plus, what you need to look out for to avoid dangerous pests in your Christmas tree. We'll be right back.
The project started out as figuring out how we can replace face-to-face training classes, the public access computer labs, as well as walk-in support remotely so that we can be safe during COVID-19 shutdown protocols.
Well, libraries across the country could soon be taking a page out of the Salt Lake City Public Library's book. Fox 13's John Franke has a look at their new program.
It's up and running.
Bridging the digital divide.
In Salt Lake City, there's about 13% of folks who are still not connected digitally the way that they need to be.
The Salt Lake City Public Library has a new hotline connecting residents with a digital navigator.
Providing a call-in number for folks who don't have a computer or don't have internet or don't know how to use it, to be able to call in and connect with somebody who's going to be able to provide ongoing support for that individual and follow up with them to make sure that they are able to meet their goals.
Now this service is more important than ever.
Right now, with remote learning, the Salt Lake City School District has worked pretty hard to make devices and internet accessible to students. But we also need to have parents who have a computer and know how to use a computer and have an email address to support their students. We have folks needing to work remotely. Multiple family members means stronger broadband. We're also in a time where we're using telehealth, we're banking online, we're communicating and connecting with our friends and family online.
Lack of access is a big problem in underserved neighborhoods.
We're looking at the areas of Glendale, Rose Park, Poplar Grove specifically, where folks have the least connectivity.
The library's bilingual staff is prepared to meet the needs of a diverse city.
More than half of our digital navigators are fluent in Spanish.
The program's blueprints will be shared with libraries across the U.S. and Canada.
What type of digital literacy training do people need? What type of support do they need to learn how to use the internet safely, with safety and security, and feel confident in information that they're accessing through the internet? So Salt Lake City is a great mid-sized city to explore that.
This is all funded through the next 6 months, but the library is hoping the services last much longer.
There's several programs available for folks who meet income restrictions where you can have reduced or low-cost internet. So we're going to work with folks to see if any of those options can provide a more long-term solution.
In Salt Lake City, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thank you, John. And folks in Salt Lake City can call 801-524-8200, the number there on your screen, to connect with a digital navigator.
Your Christmas tree could be home to a dangerous insect. Fox 13's Max Roth shows us what to look out for.
What's the difference between them? Frasers are a lot denser than that of the balsams.
There's one question the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food wants you to ask when buying a Christmas tree.
Just say, where is this from?
Ideally, the answer is Idaho or Oregon, if not Utah.
Hopefully they're coming in from those states. The other states aren't really allowed to bring them in. So, if they find it from coming in from another state, we need to know about that, especially in eastern state.
That's because gypsy moth is a big problem in the east. The invasive species can destroy crops and kill trees.
Certainly then they would dry out. We could have even additional fire increase with risk with that.
So check for signs of the insect.
If they find a Christmas tree that has a white egg mass on it, that looks like it's actually covered with almost like hairs, kind of fuzzy, that's could be a gypsy moth egg casing.
It can hitch a ride on more than just Christmas trees.
And that's how a lot of these pests get spread around the country, is people aren't aware of things that they could be transporting, right? Oh, it's just firewood, it's not a big deal. Or we even one of our concerns is with people moving into Utah that may end up with furniture, lawn furniture.
If you think you see evidence of the gypsy moth, call the Department of Agriculture and Food. They'll send an inspector.
The concern would be if they, put it out in their backyard or whatever, and then just leave it, or even it goes to a compost facility and it sits there long enough, they certainly could emerge then and start causing us problems.
Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks to strict inspection and enforcement, there hasn't been a gypsy moth infestation in Utah in decades. You can also cut your own tree with a permit.
Well, some BYU students and musicians planning to hold a virtual concert to raise money for the fight against human trafficking. The group of students will be streaming their concert 1 week from today on YouTube, and ticket holders will get to watch it live. All proceeds will actually benefit the group Operation Underground Railroad. OUR helps find children lost in the world of human trafficking and helps rehabilitate them.
The message to that was like, you know, it is all around us. It is not just things in other countries. It is not just things that happen to somebody that we never knew. This could happen to anybody. We do want to raise money. We want to support the operations in the future. We want to support rehabilitation of children, but we mostly want to get the word out to say, hey, you can do something and you can be a part of the solution.
The tickets to the concert are free, but the musicians are asking everybody to donate what they can. We've got a link for you. If you'd like to check it out, it's on our website, fox13now.com.
New testing shows a deadly disease has been spreading to more and more Utah counties. Rabbit hemorrhagic disease has now been confirmed in wild rabbit populations in Uinta County. It was originally recorded in privately raised rabbits in southern Utah in June and has also been recorded in 4 other counties. The virus causes liver inflammation that prevents blood from clotting.
Unfortunately, is a pretty fatal disease. There's an 80 to 100% chance that it's going to kill the animal once it gets it.
This disease only infects rabbits. It's not known to affect humans, livestock, or other pets. If you see multiple dead rabbits or rabbits bleeding from the nose and mouth, please leave them where they are. DWR asks that you take a photo, record that location, and then contact your local DWR office.
Well, members of Utah's Indian community rallied at the state capitol to support farmers in India. Over the last few months, farmers in India have gathered in the millions to protest a series of agricultural bills by the Indian government that they believe favor the corporations over small farmers. So today, Utahns held a solidarity gathering to show their support.
We want our voice to reach them and tell them that India is a democratic country. In spite of being that, the farmers were not given the freedom of speech. Nobody is listening to them.
Similar solidarity demonstrations are being held across the globe. These new laws directly impact the farmers in India, but they could also have a significant impact to consumers globally, those who rely on India for many key items like turmeric, chili, and ginger.
It's the final night of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo in Arlington, Texas, and Utahns are winning big.
Yeah, this has been really fun to watch. Take a look. Casey Field from Genola, Utah, has secured his 5th bareback world title. And he still holds on. Casey won the 10th and final round of the rodeo. His 91-point ride secured enough money to edge out Tim O'Connell for the top spot.
More Utahns in the spotlight. Ryder Wright from Milford has won his 2nd world title in the saddle bronc competition. Ryder edging out Wyatt Casper for the #1 ranking by tying for 1st place in the final round of the rodeo.
And Ryder tied for 1st with his brother Stetson in saddle bronc. Stetson won, not 1, but 2 gold buckles this NFR. He beat out Ty Wallace by $11,000 in the final round of bull riding to secure his 1st world championship in that event. Last night, he secured the all-around title by earning the most money of any cowboy in the 2 events. It's the first time ever that 2 brothers have won a championship in separate events in the same year in the National Finals Rodeo. Milford is proud.
Big time. Big time right there, Breck.
That is way cool. Well, hey, we kind of went for a ride here this morning with this winter storm making its mark. Of course, this morning, if you're across portions of northern into central Utah, well, it didn't take much. We had slick roads, several accidents. Things improving, though, throughout the day, except central and southern Utah. You had the brunt of that storm throughout the afternoon, but it did leave several inches of snow up in the mountains. Alta enjoying that snow with almost 1.5 feet of fresh powder where it kept falling throughout the day, where things kind of clearing off late morning for the valleys, but the mountains still hanging on to some snow. But all in all, both the valleys and the mountains, things clearing off nicely. A view from our Intermountain camera, no concerns right now. It is cold out there, down into the low 30s at this hour in Salt Lake City, mid-20s in Ogden, Provo as well. We're seeing that northwest flow bringing in that cold air, both at the surface and above, mixing out the air. Air quality, look at this. You like this color. It's green all throughout northern Utah, through the Wasatch Front as well. Maybe just a few yellow dots, but the dominant color is green, and that means good. And it looks like it'll be good even as we head towards tomorrow. As we're kind of in a break moving into Sundays, we're going to be seeing some sunshine, but it's going to be cold. Temperatures, well, in the 30s along the Wasatch Front and for most locations across the state. But we're talking about our next storm system. It gets here by tomorrow night. It will bring an issue for your Monday, both morning and potentially afternoon commute, as we'll see both valley and mountain snow. And it's a decent storm. Of course, this is not the big snow producer that can throw in 2 to 4 feet snow up in the mountains, but a few inches expected, meaning you got to keep your shovels handy heading into Monday. This is what we're looking at. Preliminary numbers for northern Utah, Wasatch Front through central Utah. It's 3 to 4 inches in Logan. Again, this is hitting tomorrow night through Monday, even into Monday afternoon. This is that snow accumulation we're expected, maybe potentially 3 to 5 inches in Park City. Not so much as we turn towards the Uinta Basin price as well. And moving further southward, it's kind of a range between, a trace to an inch for Cedar City, Richfield. So this next storm system will have a big impact across northern into central Utah, and that's about it. South kind of keeps clear of this next storm. Well, it's clear right now. Hardly any clouds around, maybe a few clouds as we look towards areas near Lake Powell, Hanksville, Moab as well. But we're going to be looking at mostly clear skies pretty much statewide, which means starting up tomorrow morning, high pressure building in, sandwiched in between the storm that hit us today and the one that's lining up again as we look towards tomorrow late. Let's talk about the timing of the storm. Looking at the computer models, we've got the clock here tonight, rolling through tomorrow morning. Again, no concerns. Now, we'll see some clouds increasing throughout the afternoon across the Wasatch Front, and we start picking up the winds out of the southwest as well, especially as we head into the afternoon. Now, looking at tomorrow night, we're talking 10 o'clock. It's extreme northern Utah. Ogden northward, we're starting to see the snow through Box Elder County. Through the rest of the Wasatch Front, it starts snowing after midnight, as it will be there for Monday morning. And traveling along I-15 all the way down to Cedar City, it could be a concern. Lingering snow showers throughout the afternoon, and then turning towards eastern Utah late Monday. We could even see some snow potentially early Tuesday morning as well. Now for tonight, it's just cold. It's teens, single digits in several locations as we're looking at mostly clear skies. Sunny start to the day. We see some clouds throughout the afternoon. Temperatures in the 30s. Looks like 40s in Richfield, mid 40s in St. George. Again, the showers don't get going until the evening, and really for the Wasatch Front, it's after midnight. Now St. George, you just keep it clear and sunny and warming up. A little cooler on Tuesday, some winds as well, but as far as precipitation, we just don't see it over the next 7 days. Northern Utah, we get it Monday into early Tuesday morning with some snow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday we start seeing some snow again with another decent storm moving into early Friday morning, clearing out as we head into the weekend. So finally we open up the snow gates as we welcome in a couple of storms this week.
Thank you, Breck. When we come back, see how one man's vision is getting a nationwide audience tomorrow in Sin City. Welcome back. Today, some lucky kids in the Jordan School District got an early Christmas surprise. Every year, the organization Christmas for Kids finds gifts for hundreds of students from the Jordan School District who would otherwise go without during the holiday season. Community members and businesses donating the money for the gifts, and this week volunteers and shoppers hand-picked the children's gifts to give away today.
The entire community comes together for this event every year, and I think that's what's helped it grow and been able to make it easier for us to help other students and get more help out there to them.
South Jordan Chamber of Commerce says they have helped more than 2,000 kids celebrate the holidays over the last 7 years. Now, if you'd like to donate or volunteer for this annual event, you can head to our website, fox13now.com.
Pretty wonderful. I love this next one. A Utah man's mission to raise awareness about multiple sclerosis is getting national attention on the gridiron tomorrow.
NFL Big, take a look.
Made to survive, MS. That's dope. You did it. Well, I'm excited to wear these.
Yeah, and I appreciate you doing that. That's what's going to be so cool. Athletes like you guys helping.
Yep, they're helping bring the spotlight to the cause. Nate Henry from Layton, who was diagnosed with MS back in 2016, designed these cleats for the Las Vegas Raiders linebacker Corey Littleton. This year, Henry's neurologist nominated him for the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats initiative. The Raiders are set to take on the Indianapolis Colts tomorrow in a big game at Allegiant Stadium. Well, it is the light at the end of the tunnel in this pandemic, but what should we expect when it comes to a timeline for getting a COVID-19 vaccine and seeing its impact? We'll explain for you coming up.
Thanks for joining us tonight. There have been more than 16 million cases of COVID-19 recorded in the United States. That rate of increase is staggering.
So the recent news of Pfizer's vaccine getting the green light feels like a sign of hope, right? But experts say it's too soon to let your guard down. Britt Conway has the latest on the vaccine timeline.
A milestone in the fight against COVID-19.
11 in favor, 3 recused. The motion passes.
Saturday, the CDC's vaccine advisors voted to recommend Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine to Americans 16 years and older, leaving it up to the CDC director to accept the recommendation. Sunday, Pfizer expects the first shipments of the vaccine to leave the Michigan facility. Then,
I expect the first shipments to arrive Monday morning. Extensive coordination will ensure that this occurs.
And by the end of the month,
our calculations believe that we're going to have 40 million doses.
But remember, advisors to the CDC have recommended healthcare workers and long-term care facility residents be the first in line. So what about everyone else?
So that's going to be up to the nation's governors as they prioritize within their states. But you should start seeing at points in February and March, general population vaccinations occurring.
And by April,
it will be, I guess you want to call it, open season in the sense of anyone, even the non-high priority groups, could get vaccinated.
But experts say about 70% of Americans will need to get vaccinated before we potentially reach herd immunity.
So we are looking at a long path until we can stop these basic public health measures.
Still, they're optimistic.
We see that there is hope on the horizon. Not today, not tomorrow, but it's coming.
I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
More national news for you right now. Country music's first black star, Charley Pride, has died of complications related to COVID-19. Now, Pride was the child of a Mississippi sharecropper. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame as its first black member in 2000. Pride was 86 years old.
Well, more people struggling to make ends meet are apparently turning to stealing. The head of workplace security firm Aegis says there are more cases of people stealing food and baby supplies. Dollar Tree and Family Dollar confirm more instances of theft and that the company is always evaluating its security plans. Philadelphia police report a 60% spike in retail theft cases since the pandemic started compared to this same time last year.
A team of international code breakers have solved a 51-year coded letter sent by the Zodiac Killer. Serial killer terrorized the San Francisco area in the late 1960s, taunting police with these mysterious letters. According to the team's leader, the message says, quote, "I hope you have lots of fun in trying to catch me." The Zodiac Killer went on to say he's not afraid of the gas chamber because he thinks the people he killed will be his slaves in the afterlife. The mystery behind the identity of the Zodiac Killer remains unsolved.
Coming up, some new technology can help people take control of their health during the COVID-19 pandemic. In our latest Rebound report, we take a look at the wearable device that can put the power to prevent COVID right in your own hands.
As we go to a break, we just want to share a time lapse of this morning where we did have that snow that hit the valley floors where, yeah, the snow had an impact for the morning commute. And then things tapering off, well, we're going to have another storm that's going to be impacting your commutes heading into the work week. When does it hit? I'll let you know after the break.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. As we work to manage the pressure of the pandemic, a new device could take away some of the stress.
Researchers telling Amanda Brandeis their health monitoring tool could help the public feel more in control.
While we can take precautions and follow every health guideline, many are still left wondering whether they've somehow been infected with the virus.
Knowing the current status of our health, I think that will give a lot of the benefit.
Along with a team of experts, San Diego State researcher Kim Moon hopes to combat the unpredictability of COVID-19 with a wearable device.
So this is the device, and this device is as small as the Band-Aid.
Small but powerful, the device contains medical-grade sensors, collecting more than 4,000 data points per second. Placed on a person's chest, it monitors heart and lung health, looking for problems in real time.
The first alert to the user, but also to the doctors.
The device can detect abnormalities in the lungs before a person shows COVID-19 symptoms, alerting doctors before there's a true emergency and hopefully preventing hospitalizations. By monitoring heart health, users can also get a better sense of their stress levels.
Understanding the level of the stress you're getting is very important, as important as the other physical, the health monitoring.
Moon was already working on the technology before the pandemic, but COVID-19 accelerated and pivoted the focus of the research. They hope to license the technology to a company that can produce and sell the device, likely at a price of a few $100s.
Seeing that will be a tremendous, joy for me.
Moon is hopeful the wearable could be sold next year and that it will continue helping patients after the pandemic is over, delivering a sense of control in a time of such uncertainty. In San Diego, I'm Amanda Brandeis reporting.
Up next, today, teachers are finding new ways to bring lessons into students' homes. But what about art and music? Tonight, the new plan to get kids to tune in while they are out of the classroom.
I'm Andrea Urban, and Utah State football has officially named its new head coach. Details on the hire coming up in sports. Plus, Utah and BYU football closed out their 2020 season today, and the two schools faced off in basketball down in Provo. Highlights from the rivalry game later in sports.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 pandemic is leaving arts education organizations out of the classrooms and students without a tune.
Cesar Rodriguez shows us how one nonprofit is trying to not lose sight of its mission during these times.
Students listen to the sounds of the 70s, taking in the music of the greats. The social justice music echoes off the walls of this classroom. It's part of the work done by Motivate and Encourage Music Appreciation, or MEMA Music. It's an arts-integrated social justice education group that aims to empower youth in underserved communities to use their voices to advocate for social justice and change.
What happened to the passion of wanting to vote?
They shared this video to show the type of work they've been doing for the last 7 years. They help build students' understanding of how artists have crafted messages of social change that encourage speaking out. But the founder, Jeannie Warsaw, has run into some artistic block: the pandemic.
And remotely, I'm not hearing that a lot of the social justice piece is happening because teachers are inundated with core subjects.
Although virtual learning has become more commonplace, it's not that easy for the arts.
And it's very difficult, especially for the arts nonprofits that specifically teach instruments or sculpture or painting, drawing, things like this. It's really hard to transfer that to remote learning.
Jeannie says many districts aren't hiring groups like theirs because they're focused on teaching the core curriculum and making up for lost learning. She also says the lack of work for arts groups impacts the social development of students. Joel Kadash's son is a former MEMA student. He says that the program helped his son express his feelings and ideas. That's why he believes arts organizations play an integral part of a student's education.
Talking to him about his typical, maybe core subjects, math, English, science, or whatever, we wouldn't get a lot out of him. But with MEMA, he actually sought us out to show us what he was working on.
MEMA is not the only non-for-profit impacted. The Arts Education Partnership is a network of more than 100 organizations dedicated to advancing arts education. It conducted a survey this summer that showed that out of 16 arts education organizations across the country, 25% did not yet have a plan to reopen.
There's a motion that comes out of Just Music, too.
As for Jeannie, she hopes leaders invest more in education organizations as an additional resource during this pandemic and not fall victims to the COVID-19 blues.
If they don't really have a place to discuss what's going on, talk about their own feelings personally, and then attach that to a project that they make with other kids, then they're holding everything inside. Then there's really no outlet at all for them.
I'm Cesar Rodriguez reporting.
All right, we got some snow today. Now people want to know, when is it coming back? What's next?
Well, I love to say that, yeah, we're now moving into the storm cycle where every 2 or 3 days we get another batch of fresh snow. And we're going to be looking long range now. Our computer models can go out anywhere between 12 to 14 days. Now, it gets a little sketchy there. It can totally change. We almost can show you where we're going to be at getting close to Christmas, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. Let me just share, though, another photo coming in from a viewer, Scott Taylor, highlighting the calm after the storm. But for tomorrow, we start with the calm before the next storm, as we've been talking about the next one on its way, getting here tomorrow night. Now, with this storm today, bringing the colder air, highs today only in the low 30s, well off the mark there, as you can see, with our average high in the upper 30s. That's where we're going to be finding ourselves come tomorrow, a little bit of a warm up there, where we start the day off with sunny skies, as we will have clear conditions, is what we're experiencing right now. And that means it's going to be a very cold night here along the Wasatch Front. Temperatures getting down into the teens, several locations down into the single digits. You throw in a little bit of wind. Yeah, the wind chill doesn't feel good at all. So if you have to be outdoors come tomorrow, heavy coat to start the day off. Good news, though, as we saw today, air quality has been improving over the past 24 to 36 hours. And I just mark the next 3 days green. The reason being is we're going to keep things mixed out with these additional storms that'll be tracking through. That is the benefit, as we do have a more active weather pattern going on now. No current winter weather advisories in place. They've expired with the storm moving on. But take a look. Nevada getting ready for the next storm as they're issuing winter weather advisories that'll be in place looking like tomorrow afternoon through Monday morning. Now, for us, the snow really gets going tomorrow night, and it will be there for Monday morning commute into the afternoon on Monday. Now, some of the preliminary numbers, at least this is pushing out until Monday afternoon. For the mountains, we're kind of looking at a 3, upwards of a 6-inch storm. At least that's through Monday afternoon, but snow will continue on. I'm looking at the storm total, which will find snow Sunday night through Monday into Tuesday morning, kind of close to the range of what we saw today, that 8 upwards of 12 inches of snow for the mountains, as this storm will mainly be benefiting northern and central Utah. But looking at satellite radar right now, clear across southern Utah, clear across northern Utah. We show you the wider view as high pressure quickly moves in for tomorrow, and then it quickly gets broken down by this next storm system. Again, it gets here come tomorrow night, where initially it starts off where we're going to see some snow showers after 10 o'clock tomorrow night for extreme northern Utah, then filling in. This is Monday morning situation with snow along the Wasatch Front through central Utah. It's I-70, it's I-80, it's I-15. And moving even further north, where we'll see that snow lingering on into Tuesday morning, then that storm will be exiting the state. So that's one storm. Let's count it out here as we move here over the next several days. Now, as we transitioned into Wednesday, we see some improvements. Thursday, looks like late the next storm begins to hit, and it brings in some snow showers, again with the focus across northern and central Utah. Lingering on to Friday, that's 2 storms as we move here over the next 7 days. Moving into the weekend, it's kind of fairly quiet. We get brushed by just a weak system there, but not bringing precipitation. But then as we transition, going into Sunday, into Monday, we're talking things lining up the 21st, 22nd, another storm hitting. So, yeah, we're going to be looking at anywhere between 3, potentially 4 storms here over the next couple of weeks. So that is good news when we've been lacking in that type of activity here over the past several days. So we're turning a corner. Tomorrow, though, again, it's a break from the storms. We'll see some clouds. It's a cold start. Waking up in the morning in the teens, upper 20s by 11 o'clock, and highs a little bit warmer, 30s, maybe even to 40 degrees like in Ridgefield, upper 30s in Cedar City, mid 40s in St. George, where, as I showed you those computer models, not a lot of precipitation moving its way towards southern Utah. We'll see temperatures warming up a little bit by the end of the week, but again, fairly quiet for the Dixie area. Northern Utah, it's upper 30s. The snow hits Monday, lingering snow showers on Tuesday. Wednesday, a break. Thursday, potentially into Friday, snow, and then a break for Saturday. But hopefully, moving closer towards Christmas, looks like it might be a white Christmas.
Utah State football has officially announced its new head coach. Blake Anderson, who comes from Arkansas State, has been named the Aggies' 29th head coach in program history. Now, Anderson spent the last 7 years as the head coach of Arkansas State's Red Wolves, leading the team to 6 consecutive winning seasons and 6 straight bowl games from 2014 to 2019, plus back-to-back Sun Belt Conference championships in 2015 and 16. Welcome to Logan, Utah, Coach Blake Anderson. Now, the Utes have had a roller coaster of a season, missing their first 2 games to COVID and then losing their starting quarterback when they finally did play in week 3. Now, this morning, Utah closed out the 2020 season against 21st ranked Colorado, and quarterback Jake Bentley looked confident in this one. All right, the 1-2 Utes are in Colorado facing the 4-0 Buffaloes. Opening drive, Jake Bentley connects to Solomon Ennis, who crosses the line to put Utah on the board first. Now, minutes before the half, game's tied now. Brendan Rice on the punt return. He finds a wide open hole in the Utes defense and takes it 81 yards to the house to give the Buffaloes a 1-score lead. Now let's jump to late in the third. Colorado with a 21-10 lead, but check out Utah. Bentley to Britton Covey, the 20-yard touchdown to Covey, who led the team in receiving yards. And the guy who led the team on the ground, 147 yards rushing, true freshman Ty Jordan, breaking free and going 66 yards to give Utah the 38-21 win over Colorado. Utes finishing that regular season on a victory.
The most important thing is this team just hung in there, never flinched, and just kept fighting and found a way to win. And that's a good win on the road against a top 25 team. So that's proud of these guys.
Just came out with just a mindset to dominate the second half. And it was just so exciting to see the guys' faces just light up with excitement as we were just moving the ball and just really having fun playing.
And the BYU Cougars, they are playing right now against San Diego State. The Cougars were first to score. Zach Wilson to Dax Milne for the 5-yard touchdown. And San Diego State went on to score twice, but BYU had an answer. Wilson to Isaac Rex in the corner. Cougars lead at the half, 17-14. Now, from the gridiron to the hardwood, we missed the Holy War this year, but today we did get the rivalry matchup between Utah and BYU men's basketball. Let's head down to Provo. Always a good game between these two. It's BYU hosting Utah in an empty Marriott Center. Now, early on, it's Matt Harms, the Purdue transfer, getting up and getting big for the slam. Cougars start to pull away. Brandon Averett at the top of the key for 3, and that fire would stay lit. But the leading scorer of the game was Utah's Alfonso Plummer. He had 19 and shot 50% from deep. But that fire I was talking about earlier, here it is from BYU. Connor Harding in the wing. He drains the long-range shot. And then late in the game, Caleb Lohner puts on a show at the rim. BYU tops Utah 82-64.
I couldn't be more proud of our guys. I mean, these guys they just answer the bell so far. You know, it's just such a brutal stretch. You could just feel the fatigue of my guys. They just found a way to group together and battle, and I couldn't be happier for them or more excited about the resilience and toughness that they've shown. It's pretty fun.
And the Utah Jazz are back in action for their first preseason game tonight against the Suns. Let's start with the guy we all know and love, Donovan Spider Mitchell from 3, nothing but net. And then a healthy Bojan Bogdanovic from behind the arc. He finished with 11, just playing 17 minutes. And welcome back Derek Favors as he drains the mid-range jumper. Let's check in on the Frenchman, Rudy Gobert, throwing down. Jazz tops the Phoenix Suns in the preseason opener, 119-105. Wow, it's nice to have sports back. That'll do it. We'll be right back.
Finally tonight, the Hubble Space Telescope turned 30 years old. And to celebrate, NASA is releasing 30 never-before-seen images. They're all part of a collection called the Caldwell Catalog. You can see it all at NASA's website.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching Fox 13 News at 9.
Quickcast is up next. We'll see you then.